Hey, friends in beauty. If you're a professional makeup artist or beauty pro who is tired of juggling multiple tools to run your business, I got great news for you. Beauty Pro Funnels is here to simplify your life and take your business to the next level. Unlike other platforms like Wix, Squarespace, or Acuity, Beauty Pro Funnels was created by a makeup artist for makeup artists. This is the world's first all-in-one software that helps you book clients, sell your products, and even launch courses all in one place. No need for separate subscriptions that drain your wallet or tools that don't speak your language as a beauty pro. With Beauty Pro Funnels, you're not just getting another booking tool. You're unlocking the ability to create multiple revenue streams, so whether you're behind the chair or not, you're making money. Imagine accepting bookings, selling your beauty products, and offering courses all without the stress of managing separate systems. That could be a big headache. Let me break it down to you one more time. Your website, build it on Beauty Pro Funnels. Your portfolio, build it on Beauty Pro Funnels. Your booking site, build it on Beauty Pro Funnels. And your e-commerce site, host it in Beauty Pro Funnels. Want to offer beauty courses or digital products? You can sell them inside of Beauty Pro Funnels, and you'll be able to send invoices, digital contracts, newsletters, and do all of your marketing directly from your Beauty Pro Funnels account. It's mind-blowing. Listen, you're going to save hundreds of dollars every single month by replacing over 10 platforms when you make the switch to Beauty Pro Funnels like Wix, Squarespace, Acuity, WordPress, Vagaro, Honeybooks, 17 Hats, Dubsado, MailChimp, Klaviyo, Kajabi, DocuSign, even Shopify. It's crazy. I know you got at least one of those. And here's the best part. Tayana and her team spent over a year building plug-and-play templates into your account for pretty much everything, so you never have to start from scratch at all. So all of your appointment confirmations, reminders, and payment reminders and stuff like that for your clients, they have already been written out for you. You can even gather reviews and referrals all on autopilot. You'll free up so many hours of time each week so you can focus on what you love, your artistry. Plus, with their mobile app, you can manage your entire business from the palm of your hand, send invoices, schedule appointments, and even take payments on the go. I believe in Beauty Pro Funnels so much that I recently moved the Friends of Beauty site to Beauty Pro Funnels, and I am loving it. It's a game changer because it's not just a platform. I swear it is like having your personal business assistant designed specifically for makeup artists and beauty pros like you. So here's the deal. If you want to see what all the hype is about, visit getbeautyprofunnels.com/friends to get a personalized tour and see how Beauty Pro Funnels can transform your business today. That's getbeautyprofunnels.com/friends because you deserve the best tool for your beauty business.
Have you ever felt so overwhelmed and burnt out that you just wanted to pause everything? You've been in grind mode for so long building your business. When is the last time that you took a break? That's exactly why I created the Water Break Retreat, happening in the breathtaking paradise of Bali on July 6th through 12th, 2025. The name Water Break comes from a moment I had on the verge of burnout, feeling unmotivated, uninspired, and completely drained. You know that feeling when you know you need to slow down, but you just can't justify it because everything feels like it will fall apart without you? That's where I was, and I knew I wasn't the only one. But here's the thing, if you don't take a break voluntarily, your body will force you to take one, and we don't want that, do we? That's why this retreat is all about intentionally pausing, just like a water break in a game, to recharge, refresh, and come back stronger than ever. Imagine waking up to stunning tropical views in a luxurious accommodation, relaxing, unwinding, and connecting with like minded beauty pros, and having memorable experiences that will leave you refreshed and re inspired to run your business and not have your business running you. A private chef welcome dinner, epic pool party with floating breakfast, Balinese spa package with an Instagrammable relaxing flower bath, and visiting the Bali swings is just a portion of what we have planned for you. Flexible payment plans with our dedicated travel expert make it super easy to say yes to the rest that you deserve. This is your chance to prioritize you. Spots are super limited and they're filling up pretty fast, so don't wait. Head over to friendsinbeauty.com/waterbreakretreat to grab your spot for this intimate getaway. If you're ready to hit pause on the hustle and escape to paradise to recharge together, head to friendsinbeauty.com/waterbreakretreat. Check out our full itinerary and save your spot as soon as possible. Share with another friend in beauty and get your passports ready. It's time for a water break.
Part of it was, of course, reading the script, seeing what their background is, and a couple of things played into that. Their socioeconomic background, where they were living in the United States, what type of cosmetics were available at that time. Because remember, it was wartime, so a lot of things were scarce. Things like petroleum that you use in mascara, for example, or eyeliner, you couldn't find it. So these women were inventive. They made their own eyeliner. They made their own mascara. Just because they're Black women does not mean that they're nobody. Give them a chance. They want to help. They joined the army for a reason. So they tasked them to go sort mail because there were backlogs and backlogs of mail in the United States. Soldiers weren't getting mails for months. So they weren't hearing from their families, and vice versa. The families don't know what was happening with their children that was abroad fighting in this war. So they were tasked to go sort millions of pieces of mail in given 6 months. They were sent over to Europe in dire conditions, the living conditions that they had to go through while they were going through this process. Sometimes they came across pieces of mail that had no address, so they had to figure things out. And they did that in a record task in 3 months.
Right.
We're done in England. They went to Europe, Italy, and I believe France. Same thing, and they just got it done.
Wow.
Mail low morale.
I'm telling you, leave it to a Black woman. We gonna figure it out. It's no address. We gonna figure out where they live.
Absolutely. Imagine everyone coming back and getting parades and stuff. And these women did their task in half the time they were tasked to do something. And they weren't recognized until 2018. And this was in the 1940s, 1947, during World War II. So to me, it's like, why did it take so long?
And I told my friends, I said, I would be remiss if I did not ask you, because I know you work with like Tyler Perry and like so many of his projects, and the drama online be like, what is going on with the makeup and the hair and these Tyler Perry? I said, I had to ask her. I'm gonna ask her, y'all. Welcome to the Friends in Beauty podcast, a safe space for ambitious beauty industry creatives to have real talk, get authentic answers, and practical tools to grow their businesses. Join me every week as me and my special guest reveal the keys to longevity and success in the beauty industry, from the ups and downs of their journey to the nitty-gritty of their struggles and triumphs. We're spilling the tea on it all, and most importantly, having fun while doing it. You ready? Hey, what's up? It's your best friend in beauty here, Aquia Robinson. Welcome back to another episode of the Friends in Beauty podcast. I am so happy to have you here, and I hope you're listening to this episode in high spirits and in good health. Now, on today's episode, I have the pleasure of having Priya Maharaj in the Friends in Beauty guest chair. Priya is a film and TV makeup artist, online editor for On Makeup Magazine and the Powder Group, and recently served as the makeup department head for the Tyler Perry film, The 688, released on December 20th on Netflix, starring Kerry Washington. And I cannot wait to hear all about it. The trailer looks fire. Let's get into it. Welcome to the Friends in Beauty podcast, Priya.
Thank you, Aquia. It's so great to be here, and thank you for having me. I'm looking forward to it.
Yes, I'm so excited to meet you because I feel like we have a lot of mutuals, like the Powder Group. I'm always at the makeup show and everything. So I'm like, how did I miss you?
Really? That's good to
Yes.
know. I mean, you're based in New York, right?
I'm in
Oh,
DC.
you're in DC. Okay, so
Mhm.
I'm sure we probably have a lot of mutual friends in the industry for
For
sure.
sure. So I'm so excited to meet you. Yeah.
Thank you. You as well. Thanks for having me.
Of course. Well, before we jump into all the fun stuff, we're going to start off with some icebreakers so the Friends of
Okay.
Beauty audience can get to know you a little bit outside of what you do professionally.
Okay.
First one, just give us 3 random facts about you.
Oh my gosh. I'm from the Caribbean originally. I'm from Trinidad.
Okay.
I've always loved, I know it sounds sort of cliche, but I've always loved beauty ever since I was a little child. I would always play into makeup.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm left-handed.
Okay.
So it sort of plays into the creativity.
Okay. I love it. She's a lefty. I
Yeah.
absolutely love Trinidad. My family is from Jamaica.
Oh,
But I've been
there
to
we go.
Trinidad 3 times for Carnival,
You
and
have?
yeah,
Okay.
playing mass and everything.
Look, anybody from the Caribbean I feel close to because you feel comfortable anywhere you go. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So I told my family, I was like, I think Trinidad is kind of better than Jamaica. And they were like mad at me. I was like, it's so nice there.
Oh my gosh, yeah, don't say that too loudly. They probably won't like it.
It will beat me up. Yes. What do people always tell you that you're good at aside from what you do professionally?
I think, the way I make people feel, for sure. You know, when people know that you're in this industry to sort of ask you, "Have you had any difficult moments or, any, difficult actors?" And honestly, I could say with confidence I haven't
That's great.
because of how I treat my actors and how I treat people in general, my clients.
Yeah.
It's my energy that I give off. I'm calm and I really listen to what I'm a Cancer, so I'm a good listener.
Okay.
So I would say, the way I treat people and how I listen.
I
Mhm.
love that. That's an attribute a lot of us, or most of us have in the beauty
Right.
industry.
Right,
Our clients.
absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. When's the last time that you did something for the first time? Have you had any new experiences with all the how you're so busy?
Oh my gosh. Maybe when I went to the premiere, I mean, the dress I wore, I would have never worn that dress. That was outside of my comfort zone.
Okay.
I went a little bit daring, and I think would that count doing something for the first time?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I went to an event one time and the designer put me in one of her gowns and the split was literally all the way up to almost my hip. And I was like, can we close this
Right.
up a little bit? I've never worn my whole leg out, lady. Like, can we do something about this? I get it.
Right,
I
right.
get it. Do you have a milestone or I guess a big goal that you hit this year that you're really proud of?
Yes. I mean, just, seeing this film 6 8 that we're gonna talk about finally come to pass. I feel like it's a story that, I knew about and I started working on maybe 2 years ago, and I felt like it's a story that should have seen the light of day a long time ago. I feel like, uh, for me, the goal of seeing it on the big screen and seeing that story, it was emotional, it was, awe-inspiring, it gives me goosebumps every time I talk about it,
Yeah.
so yeah, I think that, for
That's
sure.
super
Mhm.
cool. I can't wait to hear all about it. So, last one for the icebreakers. If you weren't a makeup artist, is there
Mhm.
anything else you could see yourself doing?
Um Maybe something with children. I mean, originally, I went to school as a pre-med, and I wanted to be a
Okay.
pediatrician, but I don't like to see kids sad and cry.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I would have pursued that, something, in the science field, cosmetic, I don't know, a chemist.
Nice.
Maybe. Yeah.
Nice. Okay. I just talked to a cosmetic chemist yesterday for the
Really?
podcast.
That's fascinating. Like, that was one of my favorite subjects, chemistry for sure, and
Mhm.
even, like, putting together and reading ingredient I love it. Yeah.
That's great. I was telling her my chemistry teacher in high school was so mean that I could not even grasp the information. I hated chemistry class.
See, that's the thing, like, if you have a good, teacher, it makes so much difference. It really does.
Mhm. For
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we got to learn a little bit about you. So exciting. So, how was the premiere? Because I did see on your page the premiere. How was that?
It was amazing. I think, everything goes by so quickly. I felt
Mhm.
like I didn't have enough time to process it.
Yeah.
I think when I was sitting in the theater, getting ready to look at it, and, Mr. Perry gave his speech, and just to hear, him thanking everybody, and it was just a surreal moment. And then, the lead actress that I worked with, that, sort of I've worked with her on other projects, and just having that proud moment of seeing her. It was just
Yeah.
so many proud moments, really. And it was surreal. It really was.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Was this your first time seeing, or everybody's first time seeing the film at the premiere?
This was my first time seeing it. I think a lot of people saw screenings before. They had a opportunity to see bits and pieces, but I think this might have been the first time, like, most everyone got to see from beginning to end.
Yeah, for sure. So, what's the feedback so far from the people that have seen the movie?
I feel like, same thing, like, this story should have been told a long time ago. Our society should have known about these 800 plus women
Mhm.
of color who did something. I feel like, you know, even though like they were going through, this was it was during the World War II, and it
Mhm.
was pre-civil rights movement, so it was like they were still facing difficulties here in America, and to have to go across the sea and do this task to bring joy to families, to soldiers, and they knew what they had to do. Hence,
Yeah.
the quote that they came up with is low morale, no male, lower morale, you
Right.
know?
Right. Right.
So I feel like so far the feedback's been great, and once you see the movie, you'll understand why. And the ending for me sort of wraps up everything for
I
sure.
can't wait to see
Yeah.
it. And when I was researching, just about them,
Yeah.
before this interview, I saw that they had no public recognition at that time for
None.
their service. So to have this film come out and honor them in
Yeah.
that way is amazing.
Absolutely. Imagine everyone coming back and getting parades and stuff. And these women did their task, and half the time they were tasked
Right.
to
I
do
saw that too.
something. And they weren't recognized until 2018. 2018, and this was in 1940, the 1940s, 1947, during World War
Hmm.
II. So
Hmm.
to me, it's like, why did it take so long?
Right. Right.
Yeah, yeah.
For people who don't know, what is like the general synopsis of the movie? What's it about?
Sure. So during World War II, um, you know, it's focused on one of the main character, Lena King. She um she was 17 at the time, and she was in high school, and she lost a love interest, and seeing recruitment and seeing women who look like her in this video of during recruiting during that period, gave her inspiration to want to join the army.
Hmm.
um she went through basic training, and these are all women of color who were led by one of the first, Charity Adams, one of the first majors in the army at the time, women of color as well.
Hmm.
And being under that type of leadership, it's inspiring. It made you want to, I'm sure these women wanted to go a little bit harder as well,
Hmm.
because at that time, like I said, it's pre-civil rights movement. They were facing so much discrimination here. Charity Adams, she was tasked, and because of Mary Bethune and Eleanor Roosevelt's relationship, they're like, these women, they're strong, they're in the army, give them a chance. Just because
Hmm.
they're Black women does not mean that they're nobody. Give
Yeah.
them a chance. They want to help. They joined the army for a reason. So they tasked them to go sort mail, because there were backlogs and backlogs of mail in the United States. Soldiers weren't getting mails for months. They weren't hearing from their families, and
Yeah.
vice versa. The families don't know what was happening with their children that was abroad fighting in this war.
Hmm.
So they were tasked to go sort millions of pieces of mail in
Right.
given 6 months. They were sent over to Europe in dire conditions, the living conditions that they have to go through while they were going through this process. Sometimes they came across pieces of mail that had no address, so they had to figure things out. And they did that in a record task in 3 months. Once
Right.
they were done in England, they went to Europe, Italy, and I believe France. Same thing, and they just got it done.
Wow.
Mail low morale.
I'm telling you, leave it to a Black woman. We gonna figure it out. It's no address. We gonna figure out where they live.
And look, yes, you will see. It's something to see how the process that they went through in figuring this out.
Before the internet
Amazing.
was even a thought. Okay.
Exactly, exactly, absolutely.
That
Yeah.
is incredible. And it's so funny that we're in this age where information is just so readily available to us that I always wonder myself, like, how were people doing things before? Like,
I know, because we're in a digital age now. Everything you can just jump on Google.
yeah, they have
So it's
no
like,
problem solving skills anymore.
you're
Like
right.
they figure things out. That
Mhm.
is incredible.
Absolutely. Yes.
So what inspired you when you heard about this project? What inspired you to want to work on it?
My parents, they were like, they love like history and like the army movies and things. So I kind of knew about the battalion before. I was familiar
Okay.
with it. And I spoke with Angie Bones, who was the president of the programming here at Tyler Perry Studios. And I spoke with her about the project, and they offered me to department head it.
Yes.
And just the story alone was my inspiration. I
Hmm.
wanted to be part of bringing that history to light. I
Yeah.
wanted to be part of, giving these women recognition. And the way and what made it sort of sealed it for me was I got a chance to meet Lena King prior to filming. She
Really?
was 98 or
And I was gonna
98
ask you
at
if
the
any of them were
time.
still alive right now to
Yeah,
see the film.
she was
Wow.
98 at the time, and meeting her, I was like, "She's 98?"
Oh.
She looked like she was in her 70s. She had spunk. She had all her wits about her. She was just being in her presence was amazing, and I think all of those little things was inspiration for me to
Yeah.
want to do this project right.
Wow, and I can only imagine the stories that they have, like the real
I
life
know.
stories that they
Yeah.
could recount from that time.
Right. At the time when we started filming, if I believe correctly, there were 7 survivors still. Lena King, she recently passed away this year, but Mr. Perry had a chance to show her the finished project. So I know. Even just saying that kind of gives me goosebumps and makes me a little bit emotional because because I'm happy she had a chance to see it recognized in this way.
Yeah. Do you
Yeah.
know if he, like, documented, like, her response to it or anything?
Yes, yes, yes.
Ooh,
Yeah,
I can't wait to see
yeah,
that. That's
yeah, yeah.
incredible. That makes me so excited
It does.
because I can only imagine how that makes them feel, like
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, yes, it took time, but I'm glad that they finally got record. I'm glad that they were able to see this.
yes, she could rest well. Job well done.
Absolutely, yes.
Well, and that's so interesting you, mentioned how you got the job because I know most department heads I was gonna ask you, like, if you had to interview with Tyler Perry because I know you worked on other projects with
Mhm,
him before,
mhm.
so I was
Yeah.
wondering if you had to, like, interview with him and, like, prove that you were good for this project, you know?
What I did have to do, I had to put together a pretty robust lookbook for each
Okay.
character, what I was thinking, how things were gonna look, my knowledge behind, 'cause, makeup, what I want each, and I had to submit what during makeup testing for each character, what they're gonna look like in different parts of the story.
Got you, got you.
Yeah.
What was the research involved in that intent, like, your intention behind the crafting each character's look?
Right. So part of it was, of course, reading the script, seeing what their background is, and a couple of things played into that. Their socioeconomic background, where they were living in the United States,
Mhm.
what type of cosmetics were available at that time. Because remember, it was wartime, so a
Mhm.
lot of things were scarce. Things like petroleum that you use in mascara, for example, or eyeliner. You couldn't find it. So these women were inventive. They made their own eyeliner. They made their own mascara.
Mhm.
Another thing that was not readily available, certain color pigments, because Europe would have different color pigments available than the United States, for example. So I have to
Mhm.
consider all those things. And I work with a company called Three Custom Color, who has one of the largest library of pigments of real cosmetics like lipsticks and eyeshadows, and they replicated certain colors that I used based on, for example, where one of the cast member character lived. Bernice, who her character was based in New York. So for me, for example, she's more like in New York City. She knows the trends. Her look would be different than, say, Johnny May, came from the South. She was
Mhm.
working in factories and farmlands, and so I had to consider all those things. What type of Revlon was sort of big back then as well.
Yeah.
Nail polish, Q-Tex was one of the brands. So they would produce
Oh,
certain colors, so I have to think about those type of things. Think
yeah.
about what shades of eyeshadows I wanted certain characters to use,
Mhm.
what will be available, so you had to research all of those things, what the women would look like, working class women versus someone who is an at-home mom versus Lena, who was coming out of high school. Her look would be completely different than some of the other girls who were already in working society. So
Right,
yeah.
right. Wow, so are you going to, like, Google to look are you going to the archives? Like, how are you doing
Yeah, Google came in very handy.
it?
Watch a lot of footage of videos. There was some footage of the 688 Battalion that I got to see. Some of it was in black and white, some of it was colorized, of course. And also to have to think about what shades of pigments of lipsticks, for example, will look good on women like us,
Mhm.
versus, someone who isn't our skin tone, they would wear like certain shades. So I have to think about those things. So Google came in very handy. YouTube, I looked at some old magazines, I looked at a lot of blogs, like people who love 1940s makeup. They talked
Yeah.
about, military makeup. I even had to research the army men, facial hair, what the
Mm.
standards were for grooming standards in the military for both men and women. So believe it or not, some of the women were allowed to wear a certain aspect of makeup, not too much, because
Mhm.
at that time the army tasked, I believe, Revlon to come out with a lipstick called Patriotic Red to
Okay.
show patriotism during wartime because they thought wartime was like sort of it's heavy. So when
Uh-huh.
the women are traveling or, flying overseas, they wanted these women in red lipsticks to portray patriotism and it's sort of like, they're very prim and proper and still put together even though you're in the army. So yeah, and even like researching what various armies in Germany look like, what their facial hair would look like versus American. Um, and another thing I had to really research was or cover really is all modern day tattoos because tattoos wasn't so
Mm.
prevalent in society back then.
Mhm.
Maybe you would find tattoos in military men, but still we had to block all of those just for safety reasons,
Right.
authenticity. So yeah.
Oh my God, were the actors like really tatted up?
No, not really. I think mostly background the background actors were. But I think everybody was sort of into this and didn't mind at all. Yeah.
Yeah, because I've heard some stories of like another project I talked to somebody about, and like majority of the people had piercings in
Yeah,
certain places that most people didn't have piercings in that period, and tattoos. They got to cover all those things
absolutely.
up.
Yeah, yes, yeah.
Oh my goodness. One thing that I did see, like
Mhm.
in my research, is just the pictures from set and everything, and all I kept seeing was like skin. I was like, this skin just looks so good. Everybody's skin was just like flawless. Did you get the opportunity to use any products that we use now on like things like that?
Yeah, so one thing for me was my aesthetic is skin. I love it.
Mhm.
Especially in that time period too, even though
Fresh.
women tend to wear more cake type foundation, but I wanted to show skin. I wanted to show the beauty of our melanated skin. I just feel like these women, they were beautiful, like your natural glowness comes out. So yeah, I use like things like NARS, illuminating radiant foundation to bring out the radiance of the skin. I use things like, depending on what the actor likes, I love Kiehl's
Oh,
ultra facial cream.
mhm.
We use things that I did stay away from though is glows and highlights. Because
Okay.
women didn't those contour and highlight didn't really exist in the form that we do it in make modern day makeup.
Mhm.
Um, I did do things like little
Mm.
techniques like sculpt out the eye, making sure that we see certain aspects of the eye come through, sculpt out maybe very, very minimal on the cheeks. So we stuck more to like, natural looking makeup. As far as other products we use, it was very simple. We used a lot of waterproof eyeliner because there was a lot of emotional crying, um,
That.
going through the battlefield, exercising in the mud. I mean,
Yeah.
so we had to, keep those things in mind as well when we're using products as well. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. You got to think about all those things. When it comes to collaborating with like hair and wardrobe, how does that process work when you've kind of crafted the looks that you want already? Then you got to go to hair to make sure everything is like cohesive and everything.
Right. I think for a project like this, it was seamless because we, between costumes and I, for example, we shared our lookbook. I
Oh,
saw what they were thinking for the characters, especially when we were doing the non-military scenes.
yeah.
I was able to collaborate with Karen Wagner, who was a costume designer, in getting her looks for my character, Lena, for example, seeing how she transitioned from being this innocent high school student into the military outfit and for each character. And as far as hair is concerned, I think the collaboration was very seamless because period hair is it's put together, it's simple, but it's elegant. And I think being in the military when we transitioned to those scenes, it was sort of a seamless process. We just went with the flow, like, everything sort of got simpler, hair and
Mhm.
makeup. Yeah.
Yeah. I wanted to ask you too about practicing restraint as an artist because I feel like I know you don't just do
Yeah.
TV or film, you have like regular clients too, maybe. But like practicing restraint in the sense of like you said, they didn't do highlighting and contouring back then. So, sometimes as artists, we want to show everybody what we could do. Like, how do you
Right.
practice restraint or kind of
Um,
critique, I guess critique restraint if you
yeah,
have people on your team that kind of went a little bit too hard and it doesn't fit
absolutely.
the period.
I think that's where sort of the makeup test came in prior to starting. That sort of helped us set the look for each of the character from
Yeah.
transitioning from everyday life into the military. Um, as practicing restraint, we would go through and see, let them, I would give the artist little advice, like maybe tweak this a little bit. The lipstick is a little bit too orange. During this time, it was more blue or more, this type of shade would look better on her skin tone or don't sculpt out the eye too much. Remember, no highlighting, no sculpting.
Yeah.
As far as practicing restraint, I want to say it was easy because it wasn't an issue because knowing that it was a period film, knowing
Mm-hmm.
that it was 1940s, knowing that these women were military, I think it almost made it easier
Yeah.
for us, not having to keep up with so much and going every day knowing that, okay, this is the same look, this is the same look. Yeah.
I would imagine that the continuity is kind of simple then. Like, is it easier to like do the continuity that way when the look is very just clean?
It is because you don't have multiple looks. The things for me, as far as continuity, like if, for example, they're going through basic training, that becomes a new look because they'll get mud on them. They'll get maybe they'll get sweaty, gritty. That becomes a new look. So those are the variations in the clean look for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, continuity it was pretty seamless.
Sure. Do
Yeah.
the actresses I noticed that Kerry Washington has her own like makeup artist.
Yes.
Do the actresses get any say at any point of collaborating in the look?
Absolutely, absolutely. I think with, Kerry Washington, for example, having Sherry Knight, who was her personal, they would have a conversation. Sherry would come to me and like, do you think this would be a good fitting shade for her when she goes into her dress uniform? So we would talk that way, and I'm sure she would have her conversation with Kerry Washington
Yeah.
in what she feels comfortable. Do we bump it up more? Do we bring it back down? What do you think about this? But all the leading ladies, they were beautiful. They had gorgeous skin. They made our jobs easier. And even with them, as they trusted me as a department head to design their looks, and we would go through and have conversations. Like I feel like, for example, Lena wouldn't wear a red lip at all because she's
Hmm.
17, 18.
Yeah.
She hasn't quite reached that, adulthood. Older Lena maybe, but at that point when she's just graduating high school, she wouldn't be in a red lip. So things like that, so it becomes a two-way conversation. I think it's very collaborative. Yeah.
Sure. How many people did you have on the team in total?
In total, we had
The makeup team, I
the
guess.
makeup team.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember. Seven, six. I had a special effects and five artists. Yeah.
Okay. Did you get to choose them yourself?
I did. And when I have to say my team, they're really great. I've worked with some of these artists for a while now, a couple of
Yeah.
years. And when it came time to choosing the team, it was a no-brainer because, they're one thing I have to say about my team, and I say it every single time, we really being in an industry like this, we really care about each other. We want to see each other grow. We've helped each other, some of the younger artists get into the union. It's a very educational, collaborative team. We really look out for each other,
Hmm.
everybody really cares about each other, and I love that about our team. Yeah.
Yeah, the union. Ooh,
Yeah.
I tried one time and I said, forget it.
Keep trying, keep trying. If that's your goal, I would say keep doing it because you never know. You never know what your path is. If your goal is to get into the film industry and do TV and film, I would
Yeah.
say don't give up. Don't, because me myself, my path and the way I came into this industry, I wouldn't have thought I would be here one day, and there's so much more ahead of me, and
Mhm.
I love the challenge of it. I love, creating. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my God. When it comes to the special effects, though, were you all referencing like real photos or did you just come up with how?
No, absolutely real photos.
Oh,
That's the best reference.
yeah.
Injuries real life injuries are the best reference.
And I saw a picture where the guy had like a gash, like going like across his head
Yes.
like that.
Yeah. I had a really good for that battle scene. Well, you'll see. Um, we had really a really great strong special effects team. One day we just hired mostly special effects. They did a great job. So much so when I saw the premiere and I was looking at it, I was like getting emotional. I was like, oh my God, they did it. They did their thing. Everything looked authentic. Everything looked amazing.
Yeah.
My key special effects, Alex, he sort of led the big day we had for special effects and gave everybody great direction. So yeah, I think as having real life photo references helps. And we created mood boards. We had tons of products. We just made sure that we had everything in line to prepare our artists for the day of at
Yeah,
every
absolutely.
every scene. Mhm.
Wow. Were there any challenges that you came across during filming? Or was everything pretty
Um,
smooth? Like,
You know, I know so, sometimes, people say there are challenges, but honestly, there wasn't. There really, really
right.
wasn't any challenges. I just think everything just ran smoothly and went and fell into place, and I think part of that is the team that I had having the preparation ahead of time and the crew
Mhm.
that we worked with. It's like everything was seamless. Yeah.
That's phenomenal. How long was the filming process for this movie?
Filming process, I think I want to say it was 3 months. We had a break in between because we went over to England to film for about a month, I believe. And
Okay.
this was the beginning of 2023. We started in 2022, wrapped in like March of 23. Came back to Georgia, finished a portion here. So about 3 months, 3.5 months maybe. Yeah.
So do you have to be hush hush the entire time until they announce that this movie is coming out?
Absolutely. Like we sign NDAs. You can't post anything. We can't post any behind the scenes anything. Nothing. Yeah.
And that's the real restraint that we need to talk about in real life because like
Absolutely.
people want to post like they want to let people
Yeah.
know what's going on. That's the real restraint, not the artistry, but not posting when you have something that's going on. You sign that NDA.
Yes, you sign the NDA, and I think the team is really good about that because we always remind it because we always sign NDAs.
Yeah.
Um, so it's a fear of like, okay, are they going to let me go if I reveal something? So yeah, I think that helped, like, and just really sort of doing this film justice to and not revealing too much. I think, yeah,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
mattered.
How
Mhm.
was it going over to England? Did you all like working with the people like over there?
Yeah, they were great. We had a great team over there as well. My background crowd actors were led by an artist, background supervisor who's seasoned in England. Her name is Julie Kendrick. She did an amazing job, with the crowd hair and makeup. They
Wow.
did it so great. And I had artists there as well who worked, with some of our actors. So it was a great process. I was able to choose the artists, based on what Julie recommended. And it was a seamless process. It really was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
love it. Do you have any memorable moments from the film that you could share, or just like the process of filming and working?
Um, there's one, but I think it would give away one of the scenes. And I think, you know what it is? Maybe I'll just say this. It's seeing the sets. See that
Mm,
that's in England. There's one scene you would probably see them marching down a street. Being on that set, it was like taking you back to 1940, what was it, 45, 40, uh,
yeah.
43. But it was amazing. It was just after like England was bombed and it just being there, it was like taking you dropped in the middle of that street, probably during that time period. That
Mm,
was amazing. And then we filmed at aerospace, I think it was a museum with old warplanes. And
mm,
during our break, we went into the museum, and it was a cool experience because got to see all these planes, from back in, like when planes were first invented to modern day planes. And Ebony and I, who's the lead actress who played Lena King, we sort of slipped away for a minute. It was a special moment. It was just her and I walking through the museum
yeah.
on our lunch break and taking pictures and just enjoying that experience. It was nice. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
love
I love
that.
that.
Okay.
Mhm.
Like from the creative standpoint, I guess, of being a makeup artist or being a creative, like what
Mhm.
do you want people to take away from the film when they see it? Like, what do you want people to take away from the interpretation of the work that you put into it?
Mhm. I think, having being that the makeup is so simple, I feel like you get to focus on the character and the story, and I want the audience to focus on that. Look past the women are, like I said, they're beautiful, but really look at them. Look at their emotions. Look at how, what it may have been like for them during that time period.
Yeah.
um you know adding the layers of the costume and the makeup and the hair on top of it adds to that, but really sort of look past that
Yeah.
and see how we honor them as a character in
Yeah.
that look, to
Yeah.
really see their story.
Ooh, I can't wait to see it.
Yeah.
I wish I was at the premiere. I need the teaser right now. I want to see it right now.
Right, right. It's in theaters right now, in select theaters, so you could see it.
Oh,
Yes, and then on
I need to see it.
yeah, there's certain select theaters across the country that is playing. I would
Oh,
recommend seeing it on a big screen.
okay.
It came out on December 6th at theaters, and then on December 20th, it's on Netflix.
Got
Yeah.
you. Got you. Okay. Okay. So how long have you been doing makeup now?
Oh my gosh. Oh gosh. Over
Look
20
at that.
years. I went to makeup school in 2002 out in LA at a Make-up Designory, and really sort of got into, 'cause Georgia, I'm in Georgia, I'm in Atlanta, Georgia.
Okay.
The film industry didn't really exist here until 2008. So, like I said, in 2003, 2002, I went out to makeup school. I wanted to do it the right way. Sort of learn makeup for film and TV, special effects. So, that was my journey. I just did the up and down, went back into corporate for a while, then
Mhm.
came back to make, because I felt like I needed to do this. And it just felt right since. Yeah.
So when you started, you were like, I want to do TV and film.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I
you've
was
been
in
doing that
college.
from the
Yeah.
beginning.
From the beginning. Yeah. I was in college, and I remember thinking, I want to learn how to create characters, makeup wise. I want to create characters for TV and film. And I
Mm,
started researching. My sister had to help convince my parents. I was in my 20s. Because, being from the Caribbean, you know how parents are. They're like, you're gonna finish
yeah.
that education.
Yeah. That's the same thing. The girl, she's
Yeah.
a that's the cosmetic chemist. She said the same thing. Her family's Jamaican and she was studying like engineering. When she
Mhm.
transferred, they were like, what you doing, girl? What's happening?
Exactly. So I was like, if I go to school and do it the right way and go through the emotions, learn it properly, it's still a school. I'm still getting a degree as a journeyman makeup artist.
Mhm.
And I just always wanted to build a character and create a character.
That's awesome. So you never worked at a counter or anything like that?
So when I was in one of my first jobs was at a local, it was a cosmetic center. So kind of do makeup there. But yeah, from that process went straight into makeup school, and I did, when I graduated, I did a lot of bridal at first,
Mhm.
coming back to Georgia, because like I said, it didn't really exist here. So I did a lot of commercials, a lot of independence here in Georgia before it sort of blew up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How'd you start working with the powder group?
So funny story. When I said I went back into corporate, I'm a web developer as well.
Oh.
So I was living in Boston at the time, working for America's Test Kitchen as a web developer. And something just kept bothering me, like, Priya, you need to go back into makeup. This is what you wanted to. This is what you went to school for.
Mhm.
So I started making that transition, and I had known about the powder group since 2008, but at the time when I was trying to make the transition back into the film industry, was to 2014, reached out to the powder group and started doing some programs. And Michael DeVellis and James Vincent, who Michael DeVellis, the owner of the powder group, and James Vincent's
Mhm.
our lead artist, sort of reached out to them, and I just said, I want to get back into getting that brain muscle going again for makeup. And
Yeah.
he knew I was a web developer. He offered me a job, and here I am. Yeah.
Nice. I need to get Michael DeVellis on the line. I've been trying to get him on the podcast since I started, and I have his number.
Really?
He's so busy. I'm
Well,
like,
I know somebody who can make a connect for you.
Yes, please do, because I do have his number, but he's just like
Okay.
I know he's busy and everything like that, so
Yeah,
mm,
yeah, 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 for
yeah,
sure. He'll love it, yeah.
I
I'll
wanna talk to
definitely
him.
let him know.
Yeah, for sure. So how do you take time for yourself being so busy and working on more I know you just started another project already, but, like, how are you taking care of Priya?
He You know, the good thing sometimes about the industry is like we have breaks, like 1 month break, 2 months break. And I love to travel. And I think I take that time to travel and go to the Caribbean. Travel, and that's my escape is traveling. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, so
Sometimes, doing a little wellness, but sometimes, you neglect yourself when you're in the beauty industry when it comes to, getting your massages or your facial. But I try. I do.
yeah, you do
Yeah.
try. Would you say
Mhm.
that you have enough time in between your projects to really, like, process everything and, like, take it in before you're on to the
Sometimes.
next time the next
Sometimes, yeah. Sometimes it's just, a week off or 2 weeks off and jumping into the next thing. But then when I welcome that downtime
Yeah.
because then I get to focus back on myself and, sort of vegetate a little bit.
Mhm. Yeah, just veg out, don't think no
Mhm.
thoughts.
Yeah, exactly, exactly, yep.
Yes, and I told, my friends, I said, "I would be remiss if I did not ask you," because I know you work with, like, Tyler Perry and, like, so many of his projects, and you know the drama online be like, "What is going on with the makeup and the hair and these
Uh-huh,
Tyler Perry?"
uh-huh.
I said, "I had to ask her." You know Imma ask her, y'all.
Yeah.
Like, I wanna know, like, is this, like, a part of their characters? Like, what be going on over there?
Well, I could speak for makeup. Depends on when the show came on when I became department head, but I could speak for that. It depends on the character, yeah.
Mhm.
Sometimes, we go in, do our touches and come back out, but it depends, like, as far as the makeup go, like when we go a little bit overboard with the special effects but it depends on the character and what it calls for. Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause that's one thing we always hear about Tyler Perry films. You was
Mhm.
like, "What be going on with the makeup?" So I gotta ask, you know?
Right, yeah, yeah. I hear you. Well, believe me, I see it.
Oh, so you
I
see
think
it
I'm gonna
too?
be like, "Makeup got it together, okay?" No, no, we got it together. I think, sometimes it's a matter of time because 'cause I'm sure you've heard, like, we shoot pretty quickly, as having the time to go in and do our looks or our last look. Sometimes it's, okay, it's shortened, and we have to get in and get out.
Yeah,
And then sometimes the character calls for it, so, yeah.
got you. That makes so much sense. I'm like, people don't realize, like, everybody doesn't walk around looking flawless every day. We see it when we walk down the
No,
street,
no.
so
And then when you're on set and you're behind the scenes and you see the way things are put together, it's a different story. Like when you're sitting there watching, you don't understand how the different pieces come together or what you have to go through in the back end. And,
mhm.
all those things matter. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Have you ever been looking at a project of yours and be like, "Oh," like, pointing out stuff?
All the time. All the time. And I think that's why I sometimes have to watch it over and over. Because even when I watched the premiere of Six Triple A, I'm like, man, sitting there in the theater watching the premiere. I knew the story, but part of me was looking at the makeup for
Mhm.
each character. So sometimes it's hard to turn that part of my brain off. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't even work primarily in TV and film, but I find
Yeah.
myself doing that too,
Yeah. As
like
an
the
artist, you
movies.
will. Yeah. As an artist, you will do that. Yeah.
Like, her lip was glossy right there, the next scene it wasn't
Mhm.
glossy, what's going on?
Right. Because we
Yeah,
have that eye for it.
I be doing that all the time. Do
Right.
you
Right.
do you teach at all? Do you teach?
I don't not right now, but I don't mind. Like I'm a teacher within itself. Like one thing I always say, anybody who reaches out to me, I'm not a gatekeeper of knowledge. I want to share because
Mhm.
when I started off in this industry, I was lucky enough to have really great mentors who guided me and who were there for me. So if anybody ever reaches out to me, even on Instagram, I have lots of artists reaching out to me asking questions. I will always answer them back.
Yeah.
I will always, if somebody says, "Hey, I have a friend who give them my information, let's have a talk. Let's see what they
Mhm.
really want?"
Yeah.
So maybe part of me will transition into that one day because I love sharing. And I don't mind. Like I even tell my team, ask me 100 million questions. I don't mind because
Mhm.
if I don't set you guys up for success, I'm not setting myself up to success. You know what I mean? Like we're a unit. So we have to make sure that we represent each other well.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
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 So have you thought about, like, what you want your legacy to be with the work that you're doing?
Oh my gosh. Oh gosh. That's a big question. No, I haven't thought about it, but now that you ask me, I think, just being known for not just the artistry of the projects I've worked on, but what I've come to represent to the artists that I've mentored, or what I've come to represent as the makeup in my makeup career in itself, in my industry, with my peers, just being sharing, and being, like I said, not a gatekeeper of knowledge. Like, that's important to me. I feel like, I want to help other artists that are sort of trying to figure out themselves in this industry and what they want to do. That
Hmm.
help, maybe being known as that help in this industry. Yeah,
Yeah, for sure.
being
Yeah,
that support.
help is always needed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is there anything that's coming up next that you can share?
Not right now. My NDAs. No, yeah, we get strict no at the beginning of every project. We get a little email memo. Just remember, social media policy. Or this is, you don't talk about this. You don't do. Yeah. So
Hmm.
not right now.
Have you ever heard of anybody like violating the NDA?
Yeah. Mm, yeah.
And what happened?
You just maybe you'll get a warning. It depends on what it is, I think. You get a warning, or sometimes, pull it down right away, or you can't, we have to part ways, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, this is crazy.
Yeah.
Well, this has been such a great conversation. I really can't wait to see the movie, and I'm going to see if it's playing anywhere here in DC, so I
Yeah,
can go see it ASAP for sure.
absolutely. Yeah. You'll definitely enjoy it. Come away with something, learn to appreciate these women a little bit more on that storyline. And like I said, like, every time, no kidding, every time I talk about it, I get goosebumps and get emotional. Yeah.
Yeah, so an incredible story. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, before I let you go, I have to ask you the Friends and Beauty rapid fire questions.
Okay.
So
Okay.
whatever comes to your mind first, you can spit it out. Or if you need to elaborate, that's totally fine too.
Okay.
So the first one is, what are the top three keys to your success so far?
Patience, listening, and being a people person, being receptive. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. How do you measure your success?
Oh my gosh. How I make people feel, and I don't want to say the accolades, but seeing my work and being satisfied with the result of it. Being my
Mm,
own critic, basically.
I like that. Being your own critic. Yep.
Yeah.
What is the best advice you've ever received, or like a piece of advice that's always stuck with you?
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Um, I was gonna say it's just makeup, it could be fixed, but but as well as that, it's makeup, what, can I change that?
Sure.
I was gonna say, like, no matter what or where you are in life and the things that you want to do, keep pushing through, because you will get there. If your goal is to be an actor or the president of the United States and you don't see it right now,
Hmm.
keep pushing and believing, because it will happen. Don't give up, because we could all accomplish what we set our minds to, but just don't remove that doubt, that sense of doubt, because it will happen.
For sure.
Yeah.
It kind of spills over to my next question. Like, what advice would you give to another TV and film makeup artist right now who is just not having a pleasant time and they're just like, maybe I would just go work at the counter. I don't know about this.
Don't give up. There is timing is everything. And I'm an example of that. Timing is truly everything. When the moment that you feel you want to give up and go work at the counter, or give up from this industry completely and do something else, is when you'll find things will start working out for you.
Yeah.
If this is something in your heart that you really and truly want to do,
Hmm.
it will happen. Just remember, be patient. You have to be. Yeah.
Please be patient,
It's
y'all.
hard to hear, but it will work out. It really will. Yeah.
Hmm. Hmm. What's a resource that helps you or has helped you in your business that you can share with the friends and beauty community?
Um, a resource. The powder group, when I first started, getting back into this, I found a community of artists. I same thing. That's how I built my team, that care, that love, wanting to see each other's success. You will find the biggest cheerleaders in that group. And I think me having and seeing that example in what Michael and James created, that care about people, I've never forgotten that. And I've always wanted to incorporate that on my team. And just, still having a sense of education, never stop learning. Doesn't matter where you reach in your career, what pinnacle, if you're the top of the top department head, there'll always be something to learn. There'll always be something else. And I think Powder Group being a great resource for artists in the industry, doesn't matter what level you're in, there is always this learning opportunity. There's community. There's a sense of, if you need someone to critique something for you, it's all of that.
Yeah, for sure. I just had like flashbacks when you were saying that because I feel like Friends in Beauty is like the baby version of the Powder Group because I started off as networking events and now I'm expanding to the podcast and education. But when I first started doing makeup, I've been doing makeup for 11 years.
Yeah.
But the Powder Group was everything for me. I used to go from DC to New York so much that they thought I lived in New York. Like I was always back
Really?
and forth to like different Powder Group seminars or
But see, you
workshops, summer
understand,
school.
that resource.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's everything.
it is. It's a stepping stone. It's a builder of community. It helps boost you into that next career move,
Mhm, for
Yeah.
sure.
Mhm.
Yes. Okay. So the last one is just a statement that I want you to repeat and just say, my name is blank. And the key to longevity and success is blank, whatever you think it is.
Oh my gosh. You put me on the spot. Okay. My name is Priya Maharaj, and the key to longevity and success is patience and kindness and remembering a sense of community. Yeah.
Patience, kindness, and a sense of community. I love it. Well, before you go, please share any social media information, website, however you want people to connect with you and just follow your journeys.
Thank you so much. So you can on Instagram at priya.maharaj.com. Not .com. Priya.maharaj. And my website is priyamaharaj.com. And basically all of my branding is Priya Maharaj. Yeah.
Awesome. And yes, y'all go see the movie, give feedback, tag her name in the credits. I love seeing my friends and beauties' names in the credits. I always wait to the end of the movie to see that. Just take a picture. I love that part. So you see her name in the credits, tag her, shout her out, and all that.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. It's been great. I love the conversation.
Oh, you're welcome. My pleasure. Thanks for listening to the Friends in Beauty podcast. Don't forget, sharing is caring. If you enjoyed this episode, share it with another friend in beauty. Give it a thumbs up and subscribe, rate, and leave a 5-star review so that other friends in beauty can find the show. Plus, we'd love to hear your feedback. Connect with us on all social media platforms at Friends in Beauty, hashtag Friends in Beauty to join the conversation, and join our Friends in Beauty Facebook community to stay connected. Talk to you soon.